me tell you something that feels illegal, but is 100% allowed. No loopholes, no sketchy DMs, no financial guru screaming at you from a rented Lamborghini. Once you cross $100,000, your net worth doesn't just grow, it hits the gas pedal. And no, it's not because you suddenly became a finance wizard. It's not because you cracked some secret investing cheat code. And it's definitely not because the market looked at you and said, yeah, this one's special. This happens for one reason. Compound interest finally has something to work with. Up to this point, you've been pushing the car the whole time. After $100,000, the engine finally turns on. In this video, we're breaking down what actually changes after your first $100,000, why your money starts working harder than you do, and why going from $100,000 to $1 million does not take 10 times the effort or time. This is the moment where wealth stops feeling like a math problem and starts feeling like momentum, where numbers stop being motivational posters and start showing up in real life. So if you've ever thought, is this even working? Why does this feel so slow? Am I missing something everyone else knows? You're not broken. You're just standing right before the curve bends. And once it does, everything changes. So let's talk about why. So, what actually changes after $100,000? It's compound. Here's what's really happening. You invest money. That money earns interest. Then the interest itself starts earning interest. That's the snowball. Early on, that snowball is tiny. Like, embarrassingly tiny. You're basically rolling an ice cube uphill. Once you hit $100,000, that snowball finally has weight. And here's the part people don't get. Your net worth does not grow evenly. It's not cute, it's not fair, and it is definitely not linear. Early on, you, who does all the work. Later, your money clocks in and takes over the shift. Same rules, same strategy, wildly different experience. So let's kill the illusion right now. No vibes, no manifestation, just math. So if you ask, how much do you need to contribute for it to grow to $100,000? At $100,000, let's be honest, this one is mostly you. Your total contributions, about $80,000. Growth from investing, about $20,000. Translation, 80% sweat, 20% math. You drag this thing up the hill. Compound interest showed up like, hey, great effort, I'll help later. This is why it feels slow, because it is slow. No tricks, no hacks, just discipline and mild financial frustration. How about $300,000? Now things get interesting. At this point, growth is finally catching up to you. Your total contribution is around $160,000. Growth from investing is around $140,000. Read that again. Slowly, your money has almost caught up to you. This is the crossover phase. Your money is no longer the intern. It's a full-time employee with benefits. This is where people suddenly say, wait, I don't remember saving that much? Yes, correct, you didn't. Time did. Well, how about at $1 million? At $1 million, the story completely flips. Like, at a plot twist level. Okay, don't panic. No heart attacks, just numbers. Your total contributions at this point, about $300,000. And growth from investing is about $700,000. Yeah, let that sink in. Less than 1/3 came from you. More than 2/3 came from compound interest doing its thing. And an 8% return on $1 million, that's about $80,000 per year, whether you add a single dollar or not. Which is why the later stages feel unfair, because mathematically, they kind of are. Same percentage, very different energy. At $100,000, your money stops whispering. It'll clear its throat and then eventually takes over the room. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need secret strategies. You definitely don't need crypto tweets at 2 a.m. You just need to stay in the game long enough for the math to flip in your favor. And when it does, everything feels different. The truth people do not love hearing is that the first $100,000 mostly comes from you, your income, your discipline, and a whole lot of patience. Not investing magic, not a hot stock tip, and not your cousin's trust me bro play. So, yes, you did the heavy lifting. You carried the couch up the stairs while compound interest was politely holding the door like, wow, that looks heavy. Let me know when you're done. But here's the good news. Once the couch is upstairs, compound interest finally starts helping you move the rest of the house. Now let's talk about why $1 million does not take 10 times the time. This is where people get confused. They think, well, if $100,000 took me 8 years, then $1 million will take, what, 80? Nope, absolutely not. That's not how math works, or reality, because compounding is exponential, not linear. And yes, that word matters. Let me show you with the classic example. You've probably heard it, but stay with me. Let's say I'll give you a penny, then I'll double it every day for 30 days. Let's do the math. Day 1, 1 cent. Day 10, about $5. Day 20, you'll have around $5,000. And day 30, over $5 million. Yeah, that escalated quickly. And here's the scary part. Most people quit around day 20, right when it still feels slow, right when it still looks boring. And guess what lives right around day 20? Your first $100,000. That's the hardest part of the curve, right before it goes vertical. After $100,000, you're no longer crawling up the graph. You're stepping into the steep part of it. And that's why getting to $1 million often takes about 3 times as long, not 10. This is the moment when time plus compounding clock in, roll up their sleeves, and finally start doing the heavy lifting for you. And this is where the actual cheat code shows up. Not stock tips, not secret strategies, not a guy on YouTube screaming at you into a webcam. So, what is it? It is time. Time is undefeated. Like, never lost. Not even once. So please hear me out. The earlier you invest, the less you need to contribute each month. Start at 25, small contributions, big results. Time does the heavy lifting, you just show up. Start at 35, okay, higher contributions, but still doable. Time is still helping you, just with slightly less enthusiasm. Start at 45, much higher contributions. Time is like, all right, I'll help, but you're buying coffee. Start at 55. Let's just say your money needs caffeine, compression socks, and maybe a motivational podcast. Now, here's the part people absolutely refuse to accept, and that is timing the market beats timing the market every single time. Trying to time the market is like saying, I'll start going to the gym once I feel strong, or I'll eat healthy after I lose weight. That's not how reality works. Here's a simple example. Let's say 2 people invest in the same index fund. Person A invests consistently every month for 30 years. They buy on good days or bad days. They buy when the news says everything is on fire, while person B waits. They're watching the market. They're kind of almost ready. They're waiting for the perfect dip, which shockingly never shows up when they are brave enough. And guess who wins? Almost always the boring, consistent investor. The person with zero drama, zero predictions, and zero interest in financial gymnastics. Because missing just the best 10 days in the market over a long period can cut your returns in half. Yes, half. Like, same effort, half the money. And here's the rude part. Those best days, they usually happen right after the worst days, when everyone is panic selling and swearing they're done with investing forever. So no, you don't need perfect timing. You need participation. Delaying doesn't just slow things down, it makes the hill steeper later. That's why small investments early often beat big investments late. So you're not late because you started small. You're late if you never start because time doesn't care about your excuses, your vibes, or your I'll start next year energy, but it rewards consistency. So, what else changes after you hit that $100,000 milestone? A lot, but mostly your brain. After $100,000, four mental shifts happen. First, you stop panicking. You're not rich. And of course, you're not quitting your job tomorrow, but you're also not one surprise car repair away from financial disaster. That alone lowers your blood pressure by like 30%. Second, you start trusting boring strategies, broad index funds, long term mindset, consistency. You stop chasing fireworks and start respecting reliable heat. Your portfolio becomes a slow cooker, not a microwave that's somehow always broken. Third, you finally believe the math. 200K feels possible. 500K feels real. 1 million? It stops sounding like fan fiction written by a crypto bro at 2 a.m. And the last shift is you start to get obsessed with the process, not the hype, not the headlines, the process. You check in less, you react less, you trust more. Confidence replaces urgency. And that changes everything because now you're not chasing money anymore. You are building it. There is a quote, and I know you've probably heard this quote 1,000 times. And yes, I'm about to say it again because I physically cannot help myself. Charlie Munger said it best. The first $100,000 is a bitch, but you gotta do it. And look, I don't care what you have to do, ethically, legally, without ending up on the evening news or a Netflix documentary. But getting to that first $100,000 needs to be a priority. Not because it's glamorous, not because anyone claps for you. Most people won't even notice, but because it unlocks everything after. Once you cross that line, time starts working harder than you do. Compound interest finally shows up, late, unbothered, but ready to help. And wealth, it starts behaving differently. Your net worth doesn't creep after 100K, it takes off. Because that's the moment money stops being passive and starts participating. You didn't suddenly become smarter. You didn't crack some secret code. The math just finally woke up. After 100K, growth accelerates, stress starts to back off, confidence quietly shows up and stays. You just need to get close to the part where patience starts paying rent. And that's it for today's video. Thanks for hanging out with me. If this helped you even a little, hit like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments where you are on the journey. See you in the next video.